The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. This is Jennifer Schaus coming to you live from Washington, D.C., and thanks for joining us in our Webinar Wednesday series. We host a webinar every Wednesday throughout the entire year in 2018. All the webinars are at 12 o'clock, and we've recently added a 12:30 edition. So on some Wednesdays, in addition to the 12 o'clock, we will have a 12:30 webinar. Those are also about 20 to 25 minutes. All of the webinars and the full schedule are on our website under the webinar section. You can also find those on our YouTube channel. The speakers include myself as well as other industry experts, including attorneys, consultants, law firms, proposal writers, contract compliance folks, and other individuals involved in government contracting. We do not take questions, so if you do have questions about today's presentation, you can contact us directly. All the contact information will be shown on the last screen. Just a quick blurb here about us. We are based in downtown DC and provide professional services for government contractors. Some of those are listed there, anything from GSA schedules, contract administration, market analysis reports, and more. We do host events and seminars throughout the year, and those are also on our website under the event section. And just quick background here on me, I've got about 20 years in government contracting, and education is listed there as well. So today's topic is the GSA schedule and pricing analysis. So I'm going to run through just a quick agenda here of kind of the bullet points that I'll go through. First is, what is GSA schedule? Probably go through that pretty quickly. We'll talk about the pricing disclosures that vendors will make to GSA in order to get onto the schedule. The third bullet there is the pricing analysis, which is what GSA will do as they review your proposal. And the pricing, just as a FYI, is one of the various sections in your proposal to GSA. So I'm not going to go through all of the sections. We're just extracting and talking specifically about pricing today. And then I'll make some concluding remarks. And again, if you have questions, you can contact me directly at the end. So first of all, what is a GSA schedule? It's one of many, many, many ways that the government can purchase. It is a contract vehicle. Again, not required to do business with the government, so don't let anybody tell you, although you may have customers that prefer to purchase from the schedule. That's a good sign that you should pursue the schedule, but otherwise it is really just a marketing tool. It is a contract, so it comes with terms and conditions, some of which include meeting a $25,000 per year sales quota, meaning that more specifically, you have to run contracts, $25,000 worth of contracts through your schedule. If you don't, you could then be in jeopardy of losing your schedule, as outlined here on this slide. It is an initial 5-year contract, and it has 3 5-year renewable periods. So start to finish, it's a 20-year contract. And at the end of the 20 years, you are eligible to pursue the schedule again. So you can get, we'll say, quote unquote, relisted. Unlike, for example, the 8A program, where after 9 years of being in the 8A program, you are not eligible to reapply, even if you have a different company name and you're selling something completely different. So just keep that in mind. The schedule is open. You can hold multiple schedules. GSA has schedules for security and law enforcement. They have some for IT professional services. They've got schedule, the actual professional services schedule. So some companies do have multiple schedules. But the main focus of actually being on the schedule is for GSA to obtain your lowest price. And that's 99% of the goal of GSA. So you want to keep that in mind because your lowest prices being negotiated and listed on the schedule may not be in your best interest. Some companies are very successful with the schedule, but about 63% of the vendors have 0 sales through their schedule. It's also just more or less, I'll call it a vendor shortlist, meaning you've been pre-qualified by GSA, your prices have been negotiated, and then the government buyers can go on to gsaadvantage.gov, which is very similar to, say, eBay or Amazon, and plug in search terms, whether they're looking for bulletproof vests or cybersecurity services or program managers. And they can then find all of the companies that provide those products and or services or software, and make decisions on who to purchase from or who to send those solicitations to. So it also does require a compliant proposal to GSA. So you've got an administrative section, a technical, and a pricing section. Again, today we are focusing on the pricing, and it does require negotiation with GSA for approval. So just because you're suggesting that your widget or your person at whatever hourly rate should be at $90 for the widget or $90 per hour does not mean that that is the rate that you will get with GSA. There's a lot that goes into it. So the first piece is you would submit a proposal to GSA disclosing some information about your internal pricing policies and discounts, any concessions that you give, and any rebates. And some of these will apply more to product companies and some will apply more to services companies, meaning professional services and hourly rates. So GSA will first look at who are the companies and customers that you are giving discounts to. And then the second piece of their evaluation will be external, meaning they're going to look at other companies selling the same or similar products or services with all things being equal, so minimum education, minimum years experience, and they will bounce your rates up against the GSA industry average. And we'll get into more detail on that. So the disclosures that you need to make, one of the important documents in the pricing section is the CSP, which is the Commercial Sales Practices document. There you'll identify your most favored customer, as well as the customers that you are giving discounts to. And those are going to be both standard and non-standard. Standard is going to be, for example, if anytime you deal with nonprofit or associations or 501c3s, then you automatically give them a 7.2% discount off of your commercial rates. This could also be just a name of a customer. So anytime you deal with a Fortune 500 customer or a well-known entity, maybe Coca-Cola or Google or Facebook or anybody that is a large known entity, that you give them a 5% discount. So you would identify who that customer is, again, either the name of the company, if that's how your discounts and policies work, or a category of customers, meaning all nonprofits, all education institutions, or whomever that category is. You'll indicate on this CSP document how much those discounts are, when you give those discounts, and why. So this could be a situation where you gave discounts to a VC company because they purchased over $1 million worth of your services, or because they purchased $5 million over the course of 5 years. GSA will then look for those same or better discounts. So again, that document is the CSP, Commercial Sales Practices document. Schedule 70 for IT services also has a chart that you complete that will put into a spreadsheet format this information, and also identify the percent of revenue that each of these categories of customers receives from you. So if you're dealing with nonprofits and associations, that's typically one category, but maybe you're giving them a 10% discount, but they only make up 1% of your overall revenue. That kind of gives you more muscle in the negotiating table with GSA because they are such a small percentage of your overall revenue. Again, just to review here, the internal is that CSP, and the external, GSA uses a site, calc.gsa.gov, and we'll get into that one. But let's look at the details more on the CSP. There are two main questions, question 3 and question 4A and 4B, where you make these big disclosures. Number three is really asking, are you offering GSA your best prices regardless of quantity or terms and conditions. So based on any policies that you have or do not have, are the discounts that you're offering the government, meaning GSA, equal to or better than your best price, so your lowest price customer. Sometimes their companies will have exceptions to this rule, and you can make those disclosures also on the CFP document. The second question is 4A, and then we'll get to 4B. 4A is where you would complete something that partially mirrors your price proposal. It's a couple columns that are more or less extracted from there, where you identify who is the customer, again, whether it's a category, meaning all nonprofits, all educational institutions, all universities, all state and local, the discount that you give them, the quantity and volume, meaning if they spend $1 million, then we give them a 5% discount. Your terms, origin or destination would go there. And then column 5 are the concessions, if any, that you offer to these lowest priced or most favored customers. 4B, this is where any non-standard discounts, any deviations from your policies are disclosed. Sometimes companies may give spot discounts, or they give a lower rate because it was the end of their fiscal year and they were trying to meet or reach a certain sales quota. Again, this would be disclosed here. And it would be very important here to identify the category of customer that has or has not received any standard discounts, the frequency, and what % of the overall revenue those customers make up for you. The market analysis, the external component here, the second litmus test that GSA will go through is looking at the calc site. So the awarded labor categories are listed here. So companies that are already on the schedule and have GSA rates for their labor categories. So you would type in the search labor category field, systems engineer, project manager, program manager. On the right-hand column, you'll see additional filters, and this is where you want to be specific. So the educational level, maybe for your program manager, is a bachelor's with a minimum years of experience of 10, and maybe your rate is $100 on the commercial side, but you're going to offer GSA $95. You would plug that in and click search, and the GSA averages will show up. So you want to make sure before you decide to pursue the GSA schedule that your rates, again, are in sync with others on the schedule. Otherwise, when GSA conducts this analysis, they're going to say, typically what may happen is all the other vendors on the schedule have lower rates. Again, all things being equal, so same education and same minimum years of experience. And if you're way off the charts, meaning too high, GSA will say, well, there's really no reason for us to have your program manager on here at $100 an hour or $95 an hour when all of the other GSA vendors have a rate of $88. Again, same education and same minimum years of experience. So before you go down the path of trying to get onto the schedule, do some homework up front or contact us and we can help you with that to understand if this is in your best interest. There's also some other components to take into consideration for the schedule. And this is just a sample that we pulled out from a price proposal. And it really doesn't matter. You could change that program manager there in the second column to any other job title that you want. We're really just trying to demonstrate the information that you provide to GSA. So you would plug in the minimum education, the minimum years of experience, responsibilities. That is obviously a very shortened and condensed version of what the job description should look like. Usually you've got a couple sentences in there. The next column indicates your commercial price. This is simply a very rudimentary here example. So $100 per hour for your program manager. Your most favored customer, state and local, meaning that anytime a state and local government entity comes to you for program manager services, you are providing them a standard, meaning all the time, 5% discount. So your most favorite customer price then obviously is $95. You're going to propose something to GSA that is equal to or preferably better than your most favorite customer. You're going to give GSA, instead of a 5% discount off of your commercial price, you're going to give them a 6% discount. So your GSA discounts are off of your commercial prices. I'll repeat, your GSA discounts are off of your commercial prices. So 6% gives you a rate of $94. But then the last column there, you have to build in the industrial funding fee, which is the fee that the customer will pay, and then you then pay that in your monthly or quarterly report, however you're set up. So the customer will pay $94.71. You'll pay that 71 cents, hopefully times multiple program managers or multiple labor categories, back to GSA. Now keep in mind, on the most favored percent discount, this can vary for each job title. So in addition to a program manager, maybe you've got a project manager, systems engineer, and another job title. This does not have to be across the board, meaning a flat 5% for all of your discounts or a flat 6% to GSA. It's obviously based on how your specific company provides those discounts. So it's also important to note that your rates are a not to exceed or a price ceiling. So as you start competing for work under your schedule, specifically through your schedule, you're typically going to come in and bid at rates lower than your GSA rate. So back in that example, your GSA rate there was the $94.71 for program management. You've got an RFP that comes to you through your GSA schedule. Then you'll typically be bidding at rates lower than that. So lower margins will require that you have higher volume. Couple just quick conclusions here. This GSA schedule is not for everybody. This is one of many, many ways that the government purchases. GSA schedules are only used about 10% of the time in government purchases. You want to make sure you conduct market analysis in advance before you pull the trigger on that, and having the build it and they will come mentality. Again, as I mentioned multiple times, go to the calc site, plug in your labor categories, make sure that you're competitive with others on the schedule, noting that your GSA negotiated rates would then be only a price ceiling. You want to make sure you do have a full pipeline of customers, prospects that will specifically purchase from you through the schedule. If not, then you probably want to do some business development and marketing prior to even going through the process. And that covers it. Very quick presentation on GSA pricing analysis. If anybody needs help with getting onto the schedule, managing it, making modifications, dealing with GSA customer-assisted visits, which I would call that quote-unquote an audit, we can certainly help you with that. If you need help with your pricing or doing any market research, we can help as well. Contact information is here. Thank you so much for joining us. And today at 12:30, there's a new link that you would have to click on, but we are covering price to win. And our webinar series does continue throughout the entire year of 2018, every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Thanks again, everybody, and we hope to see you next time.